I'm walking through the woods to the beach where I like to balance stones, and it kind of got me thinking about something that might be helpful. I know that the world is really changing a lot right now, and you might be feeling like a lot of the things you used to rely on aren't working as well, or there's just a lot of changes in the people in your life and how you see yourself. And I just want you to know that even if some days you feel like everything's falling apart, there likely is a reason for it. And sometimes when we can get a map of sorts, we can feel better knowing that this moment is just one stage. So what am I talking about? Well, some of you who have been in my groups know all about the hero's journey. Like, oh my God, Max, yes, enough already. But let's talk about what the hero's journey is. The goal of talking about this is to sort out what stage you're in, because knowing that can be helpful. So here are some questions. Also, here is a storyline. At the beginning of the journey, the hero doesn't really know they're a hero, first of all. So the hero starts out and they're kind of stuck. They feel like they know they deserve something better, but they don't really know what it is, and they're kind of stuck, and they kind of feel like maybe you don't have enough money, or you don't have enough support, or you don't know what to do. And on top of that, the hero often starts out with people actually limiting them. Think of Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. Like, she was always in the way. They're like, what the hell are you doing? Just stick around here, but, stay out of our way. Or even Harry Potter, if you think of how he started underneath those steps. So if you're feeling like that, you're likely at the beginning, the call to adventure. And it's so important to know that you are exactly where you need to be. But let's talk about what's next. So, after the call to adventure, we have a period where it's almost as if the universe starts to send you signs or even some disruptions to offer you what it is you actually want. For example, let's say that you have kind of thought about secretly you want to go to school to be a chef, just for example. So we're talking about the hero's journey so you can figure out what the heck is going on. So stage one, let's say you secretly have been wanting to be a chef. Take this as it resonates. And secretly, you love to cook for people and you love food, but you work at the dollar store, for example, here in America. So what happens in the beginning, this stage, you've kind of given up. You've kind of said, the world sucks, no one here supports me, kind of like Harry Potter. And then the universe does something interesting. Let's say that when you're going to a staff meeting, you're chosen to bring the food. So take this as it resonates. Or let's say you are somehow asked to cook for, your family. Or let's say it just so happens you get an email that says there is a cooking class 1 mile from your house and it's completely free and it's only available today. So you might write off things like that, like, oh, that's cool, but that's not for me. Why would I ever do that? And the universe is screaming, saying, come on, this is exactly what you're meant to do. You've got to take a chance. And you're like, F you, universe. And that's so normal, because the next stage in number one is refusal of the call. You might feel like, how can I trust this? I can't even see how this would work out. Totally normal. What usually happens is some kind of mentor steps in. This could literally be someone you bump into on the street that happens to say something. Or this could be a part of you that comes forward that says, don't write this off. You might have every reason in the world to give up, but don't. So, after that, usually the hero has to go to the next step. which is the huge leap from stage 1 to stage 2 into the, oh wow, look at this bird. What is it? Synchronicity. Into the special world. So basically, hi Ray, hi Renz, hi Celine, Flower, hey, nice to see you, Nikki. So what you should know is that when you're at this stage, you might not know if you're going to live or die, but you have to know that it's better than staying like this the rest of your life. And often we wait around for, oh, the perfect time or the perfect person or the perfect amount of money or when we lose this amount of weight, which is fair. But you have to know that sometimes when we're this stuck, we have to just push ourselves an inch. Just push yourself a little, and then you move into the second world, the special world. And oh shit, that's when everything changes. Wow, this is also another synchronicity. This is wild. I was here. Interesting. So in the special world, this is when you've dived in. You started that new relationship. You started school. You came out to your family. You decided to stand up to an abusive parent, etc. And so now you're in a totally new place in your life. And you don't know anybody, really. And so you have to trust them because you don't know the rules. You've felt this if you've ever taken a new job. So you have to trust these people. And one thing is for certain. One, you will find success. The second thing that's for certain, someone will betray you and you will fail. And what's important here is to know that's so normal. That's so normal. It's important to remember failing, as much as it hurts, it's better than sitting by yourself, stewing over all the things you wish you could have had or tried. And I don't say that lightly. I've failed at many, many things in my life. So, someone betrays you, and then someone really stands out as a good new friend. And you find some success. Maybe you start a business and you're like, heck yeah, my business is making money. Maybe you sell cupcakes. Maybe you're in a new relationship and it's going great. And then something happens. So in this second stage, essentially, things are finally going well. You're so relieved. They're not cheating, or, I'm making money, or I feel like I'm on the path. And then, boom, something happens. And it's so easy to say, I knew it. Something always messes it up. I can never make anything turn out well, right? But no, this is bound to happen because it's life. So that's one thing to remember. This is also a period where you're sort of tested. And this is often when people are so relieved to finally get some relief or positivity that they get a little loosey-goosey, as one of my friends would say. And so that's when we enter the dark night of the soul. If you've never heard that, it's a huge deal. This would be stage 3. So stage 3, the dark night of the soul. I probably should sit down for this. You'll know if you're in the dark night of the soul if everything around you starts falling apart. Maybe you lose your job, and then you lose your relationship, and then you get a health scare, and then during the health scare, all the friends you thought would be there are suddenly blaming you, etc., etc. It also is a sense of the world is not as reliable as I thought it was. For some people, their dark night of the soul is fairly brief and easy. It's kind of like, it could be simple things like the food that they put on nutrition labels is a lie. How can that be possible? How can they lie on the label? It can be that all the way up to something extreme, kind of like mine was, where you lose all your belongings, you're sleeping in bathrooms, you almost die, etc., etc. And the universe is your only place to turn for help. But here's a secret. I don't know if it's a secret for you, but this is one secret or answer in your darkest hour. If you can hold on to self-awareness when your dark night of the soul happens, you can get through it so much easier. For example, when I was going through mine, let's say in the middle of all this stuff, the place I was working for didn't refuse. They said they were going to pay me, but were actually committing insurance fraud. So I stayed for a year being paid, very, very little. So I lost my place to live, etc. And so it would be so easy for me to say, oh, look at me, I'm such a victim. Oh, this place isn't paying me. I don't have a place to live now. Everything bad happens to me. Oh my gosh. Somebody rescue me. And there are times when, sure, I felt that way. But in the dark night of the soul, something I learned that maybe will help you. All along, I really tried to fiercely hold on to what is true in life. And here's the truth. I knew that the place I was going into seemed a little off. When I interviewed with my friend's father, the owner, I knew that something was a bit off. They barely even asked about my background, and they wanted me to get on 1 million insurance panels that paid very little. I thought, whatever. Also, I had a tendency to people please. So rather than dig deeper into that, I said, oh yes, I'll take all the clients. I'll do all the work. I was working 6 days a week and couldn't afford food. This must be normal. So I was kind of people pleasing, etc., etc. And so what I learned from that is essentially, here's the bottom line of that. It may sound harsh, but once you dig down into the truth of who you are, you won't find shame. You won't find, on top of all this, I'm a terrible person. What you'll find is the truth that we are all lovable, that we are all doing the best we can with what we've got, including the people who hurt you. Also, you have a choice of whether to forgive or not. Another truth, though, is we usually have to forgive ourselves. And you might say,